Hello everyone, my name is Bandit, and this is a mod review for the That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime mod. This is a 1.16.5 Minecraft Forge mod, and I'm going to be going through a lot of different aspects of it. This video may be a little long, and if it is, I apologize, but there is a lot to cover in this video. I may also split it into two, who knows. Before I get started, I will let you know that the wiki will be linked down below in the description, so you can use that if you want to learn more. Now, we are in the world of That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, or Tensura. If you don't know, the show/manga is about people who get reincarnated either after death or just pulled into an alternate other world. And in this world, they're given different skills and abilities, and sometimes even a different race. So that's exactly what this mod adds in. In order to access the different abilities of this mod, the first thing you need to do is die. And I'm not kidding. When you die, you will have the option to reincarnate as a new race, and you will be given new unique abilities. Now, usually the reincarnation is random, but you can use this Tensura guidebook that you're spawned with, and you can get information on how to guarantee different skills. Here are all of the different skills that can be guaranteed to be given to you. However, these are very challenging to get. For example, to get the Predator skill, you have to complete a new advancement, which is called Food Relationship. What this is completing the Balanced Diet achievement without trading, curing villagers, taming or breeding mobs, and summoning any golem. If you don't know, the balanced diet is to eat one of every piece of food in the game. And to get them, you will have to go to the end. So you pretty much have to beat the game on one life before reincarnating to guarantee this skill. There's also other ones like Chosen One, which you have to get Hero of the Village, Post-Mortal, and kill the Ender Dragon. Severer is a bunch of different achievements, but you pretty much have to play the world in hardcore in order to get a chance at guaranteeing any of these skills. However, you don't have to guarantee them, you can just roll the dice, which is exactly what we're gonna do right now. Hello, I don't suppose you could give me a valiant death. Perfect. Now, when I respawn, you can see a lot of things are going on. The first thing is that I'm able to choose a race. There are a few different races: human, slime, goblin, lizardman, orc, white, vampire, random, and there is a hidden demon race. The demon race is only able to be obtained through choosing the random option. So we're just gonna go with a human for our race. I'm gonna hit select. And that took so long, it's now nighttime. Now, if I hit the chat key, you can see I got a few achievements for reincarnating. So whenever you regenerate, you have the chance to get a unique skill. And in this case, I got Perceiver. If I hit the B key, this opens up the Tensura menu. Here I can see Magicules, a couple of unknown slots, which we'll get into. And here are the different skills. We have extra skills, intrinsic skills, and unique skills. In my case, I just got a unique skill, and that one was the Perceiver skill. That's how reincarnating works and how you can get on your journey. So now I've loaded into my real mod review world, and we're gonna go over some of the items, tools, weapons, potions, etc. of this mod before we get into more of the skills and races. And I guess materials is as good a place as ever to start. So this mod has different ores that spawn naturally in the world. The silver ore, which I grabbed the ice and fire version, and a bunch of green, red, purple, a bunch of magic ores here. Now, what can you do with these magic ores? Well, if we look in here, there's a bunch of different things we can craft with them. For one, the silver ingot, it just comes from smelting the silver ore, so that's simple enough. But the raw magic shards here, this is what is created by smelting the magic ores that you find in the caves. These magic shards can then be used to create magic steel ingots. And that is 4 magic shards with 4 iron. So a little expensive, but it gets you the magic steel. The magic steel is then used to create a new type of steel called demon steel. And to create this, you have to combine 2 magic steel with a crying obsidian inside a reinforced anvil. And this is a reinforced anvil here. If I right click it, you can see I do not meet the condition to use this block. This means I'm not smart enough to actually use this. I have to get skills or abilities that increase my intelligence to be able to use an anvil like this. So once we get those skills, I'll let you know. But for now, we'll just keep this here and wait for it later. For reference though, you can create the reinforced anvil with a regular anvil, magic steel, magic shards, and iron ingots. With demon steel, you can then create mithril, another fictional ore, That's 2 demon steel with a silver block to get a single mithril. And then we have the orichalcum ingot. This one is demon steel with blocks of gold, again in that reinforced anvil. That's pretty much it for the materials themselves. They're used to create different tools and weapons. If we look, we have the 4 different tiers of tools: magic steel, demon steel, mithril, and orichalcum. For damage differences, it's about 10 for magic steel, 12 for demon, 13.5 for mithril, and 15 for orichalcum. So let's grab these different pickaxes and see the difference in mining speed. So here's the magic steel, very, very quick. Here's the demon steel, about the same. Mithril, also about the same. And the orichalcum, also about the same. So the main differences between these pickaxes is going to be their base damage, their attack speed, but also their durability. I don't know if you saw that there, but the orichalcum and demon steel actually have self-mending. My experience went down and the durability of these two went back up to full. So it's not like regular mending where you need to have the actual XP orbs. This just takes the XP directly out of your inventory and puts it in. That's pretty cool. That's all we're gonna go through the tools. They're pretty basic tools, so you don't need to know how they work. But we can check out some of the weapons in this mod. If I open up this chest, there are a lot of different weapons, but we'll start with the basic swords created from the different ores over there. If I spawn in a test subject here, it's very dramatic. The magic steel does about 3 hits to kill. The demon steel does also 3 hits to kill. The mithril did 12.5 damage, and I think it does extra damage to undead. Yeah, I think that's the case. And the orichalcum sword does 2 damage. So reading the wiki here, if you attack a undead with the mithril tool, it has 2 abilities. One, it'll do the undead absorption, which actually absorbs the undead and turns it into durability for the sword. So for example, killing this zombie, you can see the durability doesn't go down because it healed more than it took to do the damage. It also has Holy Strike ability, which is a passive that doubles any damage to any undead, which is why this is one-shotting this zombie. So those are the swords. We now have the bamboo water gun, which we can just take a look at this. To craft it, we need to use this new table called the infused forging table. To craft this, it's 4 magic steel with a grindstone, stone cutter, smithing table, anvil, and crafting table all put into one. We actually have one over here, and we can use it to create the different items, but the bamboo gun is just bamboo with a bucket and some string. What this does is if you right-click a bucket of water or a water source, it will fill up the water inside of the bamboo gun. Now, it doesn't do physical damage, but what it can do is put out any fires that show up, so kind of a cool little tool. The next one we're going to do is a flint and magic steel. I am going a little out of order here, but I'm just now choosing to go with the wiki. So the flint and magic steel doesn't create regular fire, it creates black flames. Now, these flames are a little different than regular because you can't put them out with water. They'll stay for a while, and you actually have to spend some time breaking it to put it out. So it's a lot more potent than regular. By the way, to craft that is inside of the smithing table, a flint and steel, and a magic steel ingot. The next one is a kunai, and if we spawn in a zombie, this does 3 damage, and it just throws like that. So it is a one-time use, so you will have to have a lot of them to use it. To craft it, here is the recipe. The next item is the spear. This does 5 damage per hit. If you hold right-click, you can aim and let go to throw the spear. When throwing it, it does 8 damage. I also seem to have lost the spear, so that might be something to keep in mind, that you may not get it back. To craft the spear, you use the infused forging table with iron, gold, sticks, and more gold. Next, we have the wooden goblin bat. This can't be created, but it can be found by fighting the goblins. If we spawn in a zombie here, this should do 4 hearts damage, and looks like it does 3.5, so close enough. The next item is the battle hammer. Again, you cannot craft this, but to get it, you have to kill an investigator or otherworlder. But this does 3.75 hearts, so about the same as the wooden bat. Next is the crimson lotus edge. This can be crafted with magic steel, iron, gold, and sticks inside of the infused forging table, and this just simply does 5.75 hearts, so pretty damaging. Next is the Hercules edge. Iron, magic steel, feathers, silk, and a stick. You can see it's kind of big. This is also nicknamed the Soul Eater. It can do soul damage as well as physical damage. If we do this, we can see it almost takes it takes more than half of the zombie's health. So it does a lot of damage. Next is a katana, which can actually be crafted in a regular crafting table with iron and iron nuggets. This is just an ordinary katana. It swings fast and does a little bit of damage. Next is the Orc Cleaver. This can only be obtained by killing a Orc Lord or Orc Disaster. It does initially 5 hearts about, or 4.5. But if you use this as an Orc race, it'll actually do double the damage. Next is the Orc Axe. This can be crafted with black dye and iron ingots with some sticks. This, as an Orc, does 1.75 times more damage, so a little weaker than the Cleaver, but still does a decent amount. For 8 iron ingots and an iron nugget, you can get the Battle Axe. This is just a regular axe and just does regular axe damage. Fair enough. Oh, okay, we just got a basilisk just showed up, trying to, oh, we might die. The basilisk gave me 40 seconds of nausea. I think I'm dead. Uh-oh, I can't even hit him. Okay. As I was saying, the mace can be crafted with iron ingots, black dye, and some silk and string. It does a lot of damage, but it is very slow to swing. And we've already gone over these swords here. One thing I did just read, the orichalcum stuff will automatically regenerate by themselves. They do not take XP. The Demon Steel Sword does take XP in order to regenerate itself. But we can talk about the Ice Blade next, which can be crafted with a bunch of blue ice, raw magic shards, obsidian, eye vendor, and a bone. This will afflict slowness to anything that it hits, and it does double damage to any fire mobs. Also, you get strength 2 and speed 2 when you're in a cold biome. I am not in a cold biome, but if we were, it would give us a little bit of speed. Next, we have the Spatial Blade. The crafting recipe for this is iron, magic steel, gold, ender pearl, and a stick. Not only does this one look, in my opinion, the best so far, it has a few different abilities as well. Let's spawn in the zombie. Base damage, it does 3.5 hearts. So if we shift and right click, it changes the sword's mode. When it's glowing like this, it's in projectile mode. And we can see it shoots out a projectile for the durability. It uses 50 durability every time it does that, so you have to be careful you don't break your sword. This is important to note, but this sword is the first sword that we've seen that actually has a special ability when paired with a unique skill. The skill Severer will increase the projectile damage that this sword does. We'll remember that when we get to the skills. Next, we have the Gobta Kadachi, and I hope I'm saying that right. For some reason, I can't see the recipe for this, but you can check the wiki for it. Now, this sword has a bunch of cool abilities. For one, it's just a regular sword, so it does 2.5 damage, but it has different forms. Not only is this sword unbreakable and immune to fire, it's not enchantable as well, so don't go trying to put sharpness on this. But you don't really need sharpness, because if you shift right-click, it puts the sword into the katana sheath like this. And if you right-click, it actually does a lightning attack. Ow. When it's in this form, it shoots out a ray of black lightning with quite a bit of a range. It does cost 1,000 magicules though, which is why I'm completely out. But you can see it does quite a bit of damage to that zombie. Let's try it again. Right click. Lots of damage to the zombie, almost one-shotting him, but with the fire it does. The next thing we have is the Dragon Knuckles. These can be crafted using the Tempest Scales, Magic Steel, and Magic Shards. Now if I punch with normal, you see it's not really doing too much damage. The reason for that is this is actually a tool, a multi-tool. So I can mine dirt, I can mine stone really easily with it, and any damage done to the zombie is actually done in the form of knockback stacking. So if I break this and let him come out here, you can see it's doing a little more knockback than normal. This is because it's converting all of the damage into knockback instead. And that knockback does stack up a little bit the more damage you do. It's a utility, not necessarily a weapon. Next sword we have is the Dead End Rainbow. This cannot be crafted. It can only be gotten by defeating Hinata, a boss in the game. What this does is kind of crazy. Not only is it super powerful, this sword has a special ability that allows it to kill anything except bosses on the 7th hit. So if you're fighting a player and you hit them 7 times, they could regenerate in between, it doesn't matter. They will instantly die on the 7th. For bosses, it will actually just put them on low HP. It doesn't actually insta-kill them. This has a very low rate at dropping, but it is pretty OP. And the final sword is the Shizu sword. This can only be gotten by killing Shizu, and it's just a powerful sword that has an inherent fire aspect ability to it. Simple enough. That's all the swords and weapons. Hopefully you're still with me because we've got a lot of skills to go through and some armor and potions as well. Speaking of armor, let's take a look. First one we'll talk about is Scale Mail. If I put this on, it has a cool effect. I actually really like the look of this. To craft it, you have to use the infused table with the Armorsaurus scales. So that's a new mob in the game that you'll have to kill in order to get the pieces for this armor. This has a lot of protection to it, but one caveat to it is if you get poisoned or hit with any hellfire, which is something added into this game, the durability of this armor will go down significantly. So if I give myself some poison, you can visually see that this is dropping very, very fast. The next we have is the Winged Boots. To craft these, got some wings, an elytra, some mithril, and magic steel. To activate these, you hold the shift key, and you can see I'm actually sort of flying. It's kind of like hopping based on the thing, but you get very fast walking speed, and your jumping is a little bit... You can jump kind of high. It's almost like a wall jump. It's not true flight, but still pretty neat. You also don't take fall damage when these things are on. Whoa. Next we have is the hard leather armor. This gives us a little less armor than the Armorsaurus, but to craft it, you have to use hard leather, which is a mob drop, but it's pretty decent armor, and you can get it relatively early as long as you can beat up the mob that drops the hard leather. We also have the anti-demon mask. With this thing equipped, you get water breathing, you get poison resistance, and you have night vision. It also is pretty decent for armor, so it lets you go above the actual full armor bars down below. That's pretty much all of the armor that we have. There are 2 other things, Iron Orc armor and Dark Iron Orc armor. These are used for subordinates, which I'll get to, but pretty much they're your friends and people that you create for your colony. Okay, big spider. As I was saying, this armor allows you to equip your orc subordinates and make them stronger. To create this, it's a full set of iron armor with more iron around it. And the dark iron is the same iron orc armor with obsidian in a smithing table. We're almost done with all of the items in this mod, but let's look at the food. Yep, it's just food. So some of this food is really, really filling. Like for example, this does 60 saturation, 64 saturation, 192 saturation. You do have to kill some pretty big mobs for these, but I just thought I'd show you them. That gotten out of the way, we have now potions. There are 5 different potions you can craft in this game. The first is the Hippoke energy drink. This recovers 2.5% of your max magicules. To create that, you need a Hippoke flytrap herb mixed with the 25% healing potions, which you can also craft. Now to get this herb, you actually have to use Hippoke seeds. Now to obtain the Hippoke grass, you can find it spawn naturally on stone, so inside of caves or around magic-rich areas. And when you break that, you'll get the grass itself, but you'll also get a Hippoke seed, which you can then replant and grow your own. Now, when the grass is growing, it has a chance to turn into the flytrap herb. So that's when you can grab it for the potions here. The next potion is the 25% healing potion. The recipe for that is the Hippoke seed with water bottles inside of the brewing stand, and you'll get a 25% healing potion, which will heal 25% of your actual health. The next is the 50% healing potion. This is created by putting the 25% healing potion in a full Hippoke grass. So this is the Hippoke seed, this is the Hippoke grass. So you can easily make it to 50%. The next is the 75% potion. These are 50% healings with a golden apple. Again, that will give you 75% of your max health. And we have the 98% healing potion, which is a very potent potion to have. It's taking the 75% and giving them an enchanted golden apple. So very expensive, but it is worth it because it will heal you pretty much all of your health. There we go, 1 heart. We drink this, takes forever to drink, boom. Full hearts, full saturation. We can also craft this Tempest Slime Ball. That is made by putting a 98% healing potion into a slime balls into the brewing stand. Now this one is pretty cool because it is a ranged potion. It allows you to use it on other people by shift and right clicking. So that'll just throw the little slime ball on them. And it didn't work on me because I was already full health and I don't think you can throw it on yourself. But if I did it on a zombie, for example, shift right click, I can heal him completely. Now we're almost to the skills, but let's just look at these last little things, these slime statues. And they serve no purpose, they're just cool. If we look, the recipes for these are just simple upgrades. And they're just for looks, but I thought I'd show them here. I've just decided that the skills are going to be way too much to do in this one video. So I'm going to have a second video, a part 2, to go over all of them and also all of the races. If you enjoyed, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notifications. It really helps me out and motivates me to do this more. Also, if there's a favorite skill that you have, leave it down in the comments. I want to see what other people's opinions are on the different skills in the show/game. Anyway, guys, I'll see you in part 2. Coming soon. See you later. Bye.